Gender representation in textbooks is a powerful tool in shaping more egalitarian gender attitudes in the young minds. Is India performing well in doing so? To find this out, a recent study by the Center for Global Development revealed that South Asia and India in particular is the worst region in the English-speaking world for stereotypes and low representation of women and girls in its school textbooks. This study analyzed 466 textbooks from 10 Indian states and 60 NCERT textbooks, highlighting how outdated gender stereotypes still dominate the educational content. One major finding is how men and women are portrayed. For example, mothers are almost shown doing household work like cooking, while professions such as doctors are depicted as male. Despite earlier efforts to reform these stereotypes, including a push for changes in 2017, the bias persists even in textbooks revised in 2020. Does gender bias in books vary with each state? The answer is yes. Some states do make efforts, but big differences can be seen between states when it comes to gender representation. Gujarat was one of the leading performers with about 60% of gender terms referring to women. In contrast, Karnataka is at the end of the list with only 20% female representation. Surprisingly, southern states like Karnataka and Kerala, which usually rank high on gender equality, showed poor results in this study. For this, 10 state board books were compared with the NCERT books. On an average, these state board books have even fewer mentions of women and girls than national NCERT books. Despite higher female literacy and workforce participation, states in the south do worse than the northern states in this aspect. Even in progressive states like Kerala, where efforts have been made to remove gender stereotypes, textbook content still lacks. For example, a focus on gender bias in textbooks was a part of Kerala's strategy to tackle issues like domestic violence, but the results have been underwhelming. Maharashtra, another key state, is revising its textbooks, but the gender imbalance remains a concern. Interestingly, the study found no strong link between a state's gender norms in society and its textbooks. Mizoram, for example, has more progressive views on gender, but only 22% female representation in its textbooks. On the flip side, Gujarat, which performed well in the textbook study, doesn't score well on gender attitudes in society. Perhaps societal progress alone is not enough to change what children are learning in schools. Gender bias in textbooks is a global problem. Despite initiatives like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Mahila Shakti Kendra, etc. to reduce gender gap and having 33% reservation for women in Panchayati Raj institution, India has slipped 2 places to 129th in 2024 from 127th in 2023 out of 146 countries in World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Index 2024. Countries like the UK, USA and even sub-Saharan Africa have less gendered language in textbooks than in Indian textbooks. Revising school textbooks by removing biased language in 2024 seems like a no-brainer in the world that we're living in. A better attitude on gender is one of the fundamental aspects of building a future society with higher female representation in non-traditional roles and increased female leadership at workplaces.